Hello, baseball student athletes, parents, and coaches. My name is Nick Lampman. Today I'm here to talk to you about awards, benefits, and expenses for enrolled student athletes. On your way in, you should have picked up one of these packets. We're going to definitely refer to this as we go through the presentation. So if you didn't get one, please go back to the back of the room and grab one. This will also be available online, this video, for your reference if you know of someone who isn't here or if you want to refer back to this. So our first topic is just going to be important terms. Award is an item given in recognition of an athlete's participation or performance, but it is subject to limitations. Excessive expenses are not authorized by the NCAA. An extra benefit, a special arrangement by an institutional employee or representative or the institution's athletic interest. They will provide student athlete or student athlete family members a benefit that is not authorized by the NCAA. Please be careful that you are not accepting something that like cash or something like that from anybody in the institution, because this could affect your eligibility or this could result in other punishment. These benefits are only permitted if they were available to other student athletes of the institution as well as their family and friends. Pay is a receipt of funds, benefits, or awards, but pay is not authorized by the legislation. So when we're talking about awards, they can be presented to student athletes in the form of cash or cash equivalents. They cannot be presented whether the athlete is representing the institution or not. They must conform to rules of the amateur sports organization. So NCAA athletes, you guys are considered amateurs. You will not be able to receive any sort of cash or cash equivalents. So if you see anyone try to hand you cash, do not accept it. Awards must be uniform for all team members, and the restrictions apply to awards for winning championships, the Scholar Athlete Awards, participation, special achievement, and any sort of special events. Now, complimentary admission tickets. Students also need to be careful with this as well. You are allowed to have 4 complimentary admission tickets, but these are only for friends and family members only. This is for home and away matches, so parents, you are welcome to go to an away match if you desire to, if you feel it's close enough to home. 6 tickets can be provided during the postseason. These are not hard tickets, so parents, you will have to show ID and check in with a supervisor upon entry into the game. The student will designate who's coming before the game starts. Admission to other home intercollegiate events, you will only be able to get free admission if you are a student athlete, but you must show ID if you want to enter into the game. Complimentary tickets, parents, are only provided to you for other events if your student athlete is being honored. And you may not sell complimentary admission tickets and receive any sort of payment for them. If someone wants to hand you $5, oh, here you go. Here's my complimentary admission ticket. Here, $5, here you go. That is not acceptable. Academic services. You will be able to receive tutoring services and academic counseling from the school, and they must be available to all student athletes as well, whether it's through the department or through student services. Expenses for legal proceedings may be provided if they are in regards to eligibility. Expenses may not be provided to assist a prospective or enrolled student athlete for initial or transfer eligibility requirements. And you cannot pay to improve a student athlete's academic profile. What their grade is what their grade is. Medical expenses. So you can provide medical treatment, and you can receive these expenses from both the institution, NCAA, or the conference, any of them regarding medical. Housing and meals. Kind of be careful with this one here, as the same housing policies apply to student athletes as they do the general student population. There's no special treatment athletes. I apologize, but that is the NCAA rule. You cannot receive any sort of special treatment in any of the dormitories because they must be available to the other students as well. But however, permissible housing and meal expenses include summer dormitories if you want to go to summer school, room and board for preseason practice expenses if you have to be on campus a few weeks prior to the start of the academic term. You are allowed 1 training table meal per day. Meals incidental participation. You cannot be offered both a meal and cash. So if you want to go, if you're on a trip and the coach says, here, I'll pay for your meal because it's incidental to participation, the coach cannot give you any sort of cash for this. They can only give you the meal. Snacks can be provided at any time. Vacation period expenses, only the necessary room and board expenses can be provided. If you are here during fall break, spring break, winter break, Easter break, anything of that nature. Nutritional supplements. Please be careful with this one too. You can only provide additional substances for extra calories and electrolytes, not steroids or not for athletes to get stronger or anything that is banned by the NCAA. Friends and family expenses. The institution may not provide expenses for friends and family of student athletes. However, and so we apologize for that, but there are some that are permissible. So if we do make the NCAA championships, parents, you can come and see. You can come and see us. We can provide some expenses for that to see them in the NCAA championships, as it is the student athlete's dream to make that. We will be able to provide family lodging discounts at postseason events. Injury and illness. If unfortunately we have to send the student athlete to the hospital, we could pay your transportation expenses to come and visit that student if something were to happen. If you want to see them in a national team competition, we can provide that expense for you as well. Reasonable food and drink and complimentary awards banquet admission, so we can allow you into the banquet as well at the end of the year. Entertainment. Reasonable entertainment is what can be provided. However, no cash can be provided for this entertainment, and you can only receive this during the playing season. You cannot receive this during the summertime when it's off season and you're not even in school. But it is, if it is the off season and during the academic term, this will be acceptable. Practice and competition expenses. You must be eligible to participate in order to receive any sort of this compensation. May provide actual and necessary expenses to an athlete to represent the institution in a practice and competition. Now, this would be allowed for events such as regional championships, Olympics, national team tryout competitions, other international events that happen. However, you cannot provide conditioning expenses outside the playing season. Other travel expenses that can be provided by the institution. If there's like a special event or something that you want the students to participate in, this would definitely be allowed, and actual necessary expenses can be provided. This will include goodwill tours, media appearances, fundraisers, advisory committee meetings, and only local transportation may be provided by the institution for these. Provision of expenses by individuals or organizations other than institutions. So we'll touch on this a little bit here. If you want to be a part of a service or religious organization encampment, it has to be the encampment that provides the expenses, not the institution. Travel expenses may only be accepted from a high school if that student athlete is student teaching, whether they're teaching, say, gym class or anything else, social studies. Only travel expenses related to that job can be accepted. Lunch and meeting expenses. These are mostly with boosters, but you may accept a meal and transportation only if this is in a 30-mile radius of the main campus. Professional sporting event. If you are being honored or recognized at the event, you may accept complimentary admission to the competition. And lastly here, we're going to touch on benefits, gifts, and services. Receipt of a benefit by student athletes, family members, or friends is not a violation, but it's not a violation if the same benefit is demonstrated to the other students at the institution and their families. So if one person gets this, the other person has to get this as well. Loans can be received from family and friends, but however, you cannot arrange any sort of loans that contain extra benefits. Athletes may receive an additional meal in the institution's local on infrequent special occasions from an institutional staff member, but this only has to happen once in a while. A booster member can provide an occasional meal, but it has to be at their home on campus or anywhere where they play home competitions. And last but not least, you may not receive an extra benefit from anyone at the institution, such as loans, bonds, automobiles, and transportations. And if you have any questions, feel free to come see me. Thank you for attending.